This video is being sponsored by EA Sports. Hey, what is going on everyone? This is Ancap24 from Huddle.gg. In this video, we're going to teach you all you need to know in order to master the new pass rush moves in Madden 21. Now, if this is your first time checking out our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to make sure that you stay up to date with all the best Madden 21 tips. The pass rush move system is completely overhauled in Madden 21, so we want to make sure we teach you all the factors that you need to know in order to ensure success on the field. One of the biggest additions in Madden 21 is the introduction of the pass rush budget alongside the blocker memory and resistance bars. Understanding how these work hand in hand might be the most crucial part of mastering the new pass rush. Let's first talk about pass rush budget. This system has pass rush moves indicated as notches that go up on a meter. Each notch corresponds with the ability to perform a move for that particular play. Each time you perform one of those moves, your pass rush budget will have one less notch displayed. If your budget meter becomes empty, this means you're going to be unable to make any other moves. After each play, you're automatically going to get one of those notches back. Some of the players that have abilities will have the potential to gain more, but we're going to talk about that later in a video. Offensive line also has an added user interface that displays meters of blocking resistance bars. The meter is divided into two sides of the player to give you an indication of which side is more vulnerable to attack. The way these resistance bars build up is that the lineman is remembering the history versus each specific pass rusher throughout the course of the game. As you continue to beat him to one side, he will build up his memory to that outcome, which in turn will add resistance bars, making it more difficult to beat him again on that side. Each lineman builds up resistant bar memory unique to each defensive player he faces. So as the game continues, you may find that the offensive lineman has built a good understanding of the moves you're trying to attempt with a particular player. There are, however, a couple ways to combat this from a defensive perspective. One is to consider having a solid rotation to your defensive line in order to keep them fresh and limit the ability for the blocker resistance memory to occur. Look to players that may be stronger against the run to play on earlier downs, so that your pass rushing players can be fresh to get to the quarterback when they're more likely to see a pass on third down. Another way to limit memory resistance is to move your defensive linemen into different positions along the line to change which specific players they face against. There are formation packages such as the defensive end swap that can give you a quick ability to keep your starters in, but change the side in which they line up on. Now that you understand how the pass rush move meter works alongside the blocker memory and resistance bars, we now want to teach you how to perform each move. As you can see on the screen, the skill moves have now been put on the right stick, which gives you a quick ability to branch moves together if you wish to do so. Let's go through each of these moves and show you what a successful one looks like in game. First, let's look at the rip move, which is performed by pressing up on the right stick as you engage with your opponent. This move will have the most success when using players that have a high finesse move rating. Next up, let's look at bull rush. This is performed by pressing down on the right stick at the time of contact with the offensive lineman. This move is best used with a player with high power moves and can surely be one of the quickest ways to get into the quarterback's face. Now let's look at the club and swim moves. Both are performed by pressing the right stick to either the left or the right direction. Both are going to have the most success when using players that possess high power moves. The club animation will often occur more when you press the right stick prior to the contact of your lineman, where the swim move is going to occur more when you're locked in and try to get more separation. Both are very effective moves that should be rotated in with those strong physical players. The last move we're going to discuss is the speed rush move. Notice that the icon is on the top of the screen as it is performed by pulling the right trigger in order to get around the edge. I find that the best timing on this is to pull the trigger once you've made contact with the lineman when you already have an outside leverage advantage. Players with high finesse moves are going to have the best success rate when you're looking to execute this move. Now that you know how to do each move, it is important to understand how ratings play a role in having consistent success. Knowing which moves to try and which linemen to try them against is very important to the final outcome of getting to the quarterback. Take time to look over your team's ratings and understand which players will excel with each move. Players with high power move ratings are going to have more success with the club, swim, and bull rush moves. When your player has a high finesse move rating, you're going to want to use the rip, speed, and spin moves. The success of each move is also relative to the offensive lineman's ratings that correspond. If you're going up against a left tackle that has excellent pass block power ratings, you're going to have a harder time beating him with power moves. Many new superstar and X Factor abilities can give you extra stamina and boost to the pass rush move points. This is a great way to get an edge. Let's take a look at these abilities that can help you go get after the quarterback. The first one's called Adrenaline Rush. This ability will have all their pass rush move points restored after sacking the quarterback. This one's real nice because it often leads to back-to-back plays in which you can get intense pressure. The only player currently in regs that has this is Von Miller. The next one is BOGO. Players are granted a free pass rush point once per play after spending a rush point. So essentially you're going to be able to perform 2 moves on each play while only having 1 deducted from your meter. Currently Josh Allen from the Jaguars is the only one that has this ability. Next up we have Defensive Rally. This ability will grant a bonus pass rush to all defensive linemen on 3rd and 4th down. This one is super powerful as it helps all players on the defensive line get an additional pass rush for those 2 downs. This ability is currently on Eric Armstead, which in turn makes his teammate Nick Bosa also get a benefit from having this ability. Next one is El Toro. Defenders with this ability will receive dominant bull rush wins when their pass rush points are full. This one seems to be the most powerful in the game, but it can only be used in those limited moments when your defender has all his rush points. So make sure you keep your eye on when you can use this, as it often leads to quick interior pass rush in the quarterback's face. Players that have this are Aaron Donald, JJ Watt, Fletcher Cox, Myles Garrett, Chris Jones, Grady Jarrett, and DeForest Buckner. Next up is extra credit. Pass rushers with this ability are granted an additional maximum pass rush move point. This gives them the capacity to store 1 additional move more than any other player in the game when their rush points are full. The current player that has this is Nick Bosa. So the next one we're talking about is Instant Rebate. Defenders with this ability are refunded a pass rush point when they successfully shed blocks. This ability rewards a successful move by giving it right back to you. This will make each one of these players look more consistent on the field. The players that have it currently are Cam Jordan and Kenny Clark. Next up is Mr. Big Stop. Defenders with this ability will start 3rd and 4th down with at least half of their maximum pass rush points. This essentially will allow these players to have their whole arsenal of moves at their disposal, giving them multiple opportunities to get to the quarterback in these most crucial downs. ZA'DARIUS Smith is the current player that has this. Now these last 3 abilities will reward players with less blocking resistance when performing a specific pass move. First up is the Ripper. Geno Atkins is the only player that currently has this, and will essentially have a one-on-one advantage of the offensive line when he uses this specific rip move. The next one is Speedster. Nick Bosa and Danielle Hunter both have less blocking resistance when a speed pass rush move is performed in order to get to the quarterback. Lastly, when using the swim or club pass moves, JJ Watt, Joey Bosa, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Eric Armstead will stand out in the field with their special move is performed, as they get the same advantages as the previous mentioned players with their skill move. So now let's talk about X factors, as there are 2 that are directly associated with pass rush move points and blocker resistance. The first one is called Blitz, and when this is activated, the on-field blockers have their resistant bars wiped out. Aaron Donald is the current player that has this X factor and will be completely dominant when he is in the zone. Your opponent will have to game plan around him in order to limit his success at these moments. The next one is called Relentless, and when this is activated, rush moves no longer cost points. This X factor will allow JJ Watt and Nick Bosa to have unlimited amount of moves per play to get to the quarterback while they're in the zone. This will be another time in which your opponent will have to make some adjustments to account for them, as they surely will feel their presence on the field. The way the new pass rush system was created in Madden 21, it is something you will definitely want to try out from time to time, even if you're typically a player that likes to use a linebacker or a safety. Keeping your opponent on their toes is always a good plan when having success in Madden. Make sure to get in some practice on these moves to ensure the best results possible and your ability to dominate from the defensive line. We appreciate you checking out our video. Make sure to give it a like, and please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already.